Surprise video. Put that on.
Surprise.
We're videoing right now.
Oh yeah.
All right. So this is Ben with King Machinery. He's the longest serving sales guy here. So I came out here to just surprise him with a video because everybody wants to know what size tractor they need. He's out in the yard moving tractors around, organizing things. So let's talk about it. The customer comes in. They say they got 5 acres, a driveway, and a pond. What do they need?
So if you got 5 acres, a driveway and a pond, we would recommend at least the 1626 size. You kind of start out there, and then you can go up from there again, depending on what all you're looking to do as you add on possibly, or if you get cows and if you want to do any of your own hay or anything like that. But typically for that type of acreage, we're going to lean you more towards the 1626. So it's got 1,560 pounds lift capacity on the front loader. Very stable. It's got a good long wheelbase and wide too. So it gets you into a very stable model, where a lot of your other brands in this size and this horsepower and all are going to be a little bit narrower and not quite as long, so you don't get the balance and stability that you gain with the Mahindra. So that would be kind of, like I say, where we would start. You can jump up to the 1635 that we've got here behind it. The 1635 gives you about 9 more horsepower. So if you're looking to, have a bigger bush hog, like a 6-foot bush hog, you can go up to a 6 foot behind this. Some of your other implements could be a little bit bigger behind this one. And again, it would kind of allow you even to, you'd be pushing your limits on a square beller behind this, but you really could even run a square beller or something like that behind this one. In certain instances. So that's kind of where we would.
What if I only have 1 acre and I'm only mowing my grass, but I want to be able to? I'm older. I want to use my bucket to move some mulch.
So that's where we would go up here to more like these Emax 20s. And right now we've got a couple here with the backhoe on the back, and that's handy for a lot of people too. Like you mentioned, if you're older and even my age, I don't really like grabbing a shovel anymore. And, so you can do a lot of work with the backhoe as far as digging holes for shrubs, or, if you got drainage issues around your property or whatever, you can dig your own ditches and make your own ditches, and solve a lot of that. Some people use them even to dig the footings for their house, or, if you're adding an extra building or something like that and you're wanting to dig a footing, a lot of people use it for that. But as you mentioned, you can get the belly mower underneath this. This one would come with a 54-inch belly mower under it, or you can always do a finish mower behind it, is the other option there. So kind of open to all kinds of possibilities and everything as to what you can do with this one.
As we speak, we got some new Mahindra equipment making its way in right now. We sell the rock sawer and the tractor, and I know here where we're at in North Carolina, just speaking on behalf of King Machinery, but we don't sell a lot of big giant tractors. It's not a lot of farming where we got over 100 horsepower tractors. So as you see, what do we got? Some 1626s coming in now.
Coming in.
But yeah, it's mostly, we can go over here to our bigger tractors, but that's just again, a surprise video. I got my mic on too, so I could help you, Ben.
Yes, sir.
But I just thought it'd be kind of a realistic approach to what a customer might be going through and some of the questions they might have. I know I was once a customer. I actually bought my tractor here, and the tractor that I have, I had it 6 years. I bought the 1635, and it still fits my needs off the advice I got from Gary, who's running the second location in Hamptonville. So making the right choice is a big deal about when it comes to tractors. Where are we looking at now, Ben?
Yeah, well, just to speak on what you say about making the right choice, we get a lot of people, coming in, and obviously budget is a big thing to think about, but we get a lot of people coming in and their first tractor, they do want to start out with like the Emax 20 that we just showed you, because it is going to be your lowest price point and all. But again, that's where we kind of try to talk to you and see what all you are doing and make recommendations where we've seen, people over the years, buy a model and it be too small and then come back and trade it in within a couple of years, and go bigger. And sometimes, budget wise, again, you have to do that, stepping stones or whatever to get to where you want to be. So there's nothing wrong with that if that's the way you need to go. But we also try to look at it from a long-term investment, where if you go a little bit bigger to begin with, then you don't have to come back and upgrade, later on down the road. But here we have our 4500 series. So it's just a tried and true series. It's a little more old school. Got your high-low range there between your legs and your gears between your legs. Very plain and simple. Not a lot of frills or bells or whistles, but it's got all the conveniences that you would want. It's got your category 1 and category 2 ball here where you just swivel. So you don't have to have bushings or anything to go from one to the other. It's just a workhorse. I mean, it's been their tried and true model. Very well priced. Metal hood, metal fenders.
This one's the reason why Mahindra's the #1 selling farm tractor in the world, is this model that's been the seller, right?
It really is. Yeah, they've had this model or something very similar to this model. They've made a few tweaks to it over the years, but basically since they've come into the U.S. market, this has been kind of a tried and true. And so, like I say, it works for some people. For other people, it don't. Because again, you've got hydrostatic options and you've got shuttle options, and so they'll make it a lot more convenient as far as getting from forward to reverse or whatever. Where this one, with it being more old school, you got to pay attention to what you're doing to change the gears and everything, and find the right gear and everything. And most people, that work on them day in and day out, that's no issue. But a typical homeowner that's maybe only using them 15, 20, 30 hours a year, the convenience of the hydrostat or the shuttle comes into play there. So again, this model is not going to be for everybody, even though it is, one of their better sellers.
I'm looking at this Lane Shark here. So this isn't a sales video. This is to help you pick the right tractor. It just makes my mind think about what that thing is. So it's a front mounted brush cutter that can adjust in many ways. And so as you look at it, that's kind of the questions you need to ask yourself. What do I want to do with my tractor? For me, it was drag my driveway, and then I knew we have horses, so I'm going to be moving some hay around, usually not round bales for horses, just square bales, so I didn't need a lot of lift. I needed convenience, and I needed my tractor to be small enough to fit in my barn alleyways and stuff so I could do things. So I think step one is asking yourself, and most people, what is it? It's driveway,
wanting to kind of maintain your property, maybe trees down or something, or
bush
maybe you
hog.
bought a new property, and you've got trees that you want to remove. Bush hogging, keeping, you normally keep a couple acres, maybe even on a 10-acre property, you keep a couple acres mowed year round, and then the rest, kind of grows until you get a bush hog and you mow it, a couple times a year to keep it knocked down. If you've got gravel drive, as you were mentioning, a lot of people want to be able to maintain that. And even if not the gravel drive, if you've got a asphalt drive or a concrete drive, then you're looking, to be able to scrape it if we ever get snow. We hadn't had here much here in the last couple years, but whenever you do get it, you want to be prepared and able to clear it to get out and go where you're needing to go.
I think a cab is a question a lot of people ask themselves. They're very expensive. A backhoe is very expensive, so you got to ask yourself, am I going to use it enough, and is it something that, or is it worth it for me that I have the money to pay for that kind of comfort? And then some people, I found out, they're allergic to bees, so that's like the #1 reason people, because they want to die, right?
Right, yeah.
The cab's important for some people.
So a lot of those things that you touch on, is things that we at King Machinery try to help you with. You mentioned that this isn't a sales video. Well, I mean, obviously we are selling equipment, and we want you to come buy from us because we do believe that we provide a service that no other company is going to provide for you. We're going to sit and we're going to listen to your needs. We're going to help you work through it. If we were only here driving on sales and the most expensive sale, then everybody that comes in and says, hey, I want a backhoe, we just work right through that and go ahead and get you a backhoe. But a lot of times we talk people out of a backhoe, because it is an expense. And if you're only going to use it once or twice and then it's going to sit around at your house or whatnot, then that's a pretty big expense to put into it. And so we always recommend considering the cost of that versus going and renting like a mini excavator, a couple of times if you need it. To rent a mini excavator is a lot cheaper than to have the backhoe. But at the same time, when you've got the backhoe, it's there on your property. You don't have to go to a rental store to pick it up. You don't have to schedule and make sure that they've got it in stock. It's at your house. It's there when you're ready to go. So just things to weigh out and things that we try to help you, work through and talk about and think through. And again, just making sure that you're getting the right tractor to meet your needs and to fit, what you're doing.
The biggest tractor we have here right now, what is that, a 75 horsepower down there?
I think this one down here is the 6065, but they do make it in a 75. the exact same frame, just different engine, horsepower size and all. So, you know, that is a popular one with some of the larger farmers that, you know, do buy from us, you know, that are doing hay for their horses or their cows or whatever. It does give you the cab to be out of the weather. You know, and again, you mentioned the cab. Again, cab's not for everybody. If you're going in the woods a lot and you're doing a lot of work in the woods, then you really probably don't want a cab because you're going to be, you know, beating and banging on it with limbs and everything. So a lot of times the cab becomes like a second tractor where you've got another tractor that you can use, you know, to get into woods or anything like that. And then you've got the cab, you know, whenever you're out in the open field, you know, you're doing hay and you don't want to eat the dust of the hay and everything while you're out there. So again, just things to think about and talk through. Again, we get people that come in and they've talked to a buddy or whatever, and they tell them, you know, well, you really need a 35 horsepower. Well, in certain brands, yes, you need a 35 horsepower. Again, in the Mahindras, the 1626 performs like most everybody else's 35 horsepower tractor. So you can go with less horsepower and still get the same job done because it's same frame size, same capacities and all that you get in a larger, you know, horsepower in another brand. So again, just things that we've seen, we know, we've talked to people, and you know, we're here to help you work through all that.
I'll add one more thing and then we can cut this surprise video you weren't ready for off. But rear remotes, they're going to start, like obviously here, your rear remotes, if you don't know what they are, so you can hook up implements that require hydraulics to the rear of the machine. Round balers, things like that. They're going to start on your 50 horsepower and up.
Yeah, so most of them are going to be 50 horsepower and above that they come standard on. We can get them on even down to the EMAX 20 size. We can add them to them. Just, you know, again, Mahindra's experience and looking at the market and what people's needs are, and those horsepower, you know, below 50 horsepower, a lot of times, you know, the auxiliaries aren't really needed. You know, we do add them to certain tractors at times to meet people's needs that need them. But again, it's not an across the board thing. So Mahindra doesn't stick them on there and charge everybody for them. If you don't need them, you know, you can add it to it if you need it. So.
Well, we've spent 12 minutes and 23 seconds since I started recording. We'll let you go, Ben. I know you were out here working, but I think sometimes it's better to see a real video than something that we don't want to be rehearsing stuff. We just want it to be real because that's what we try to be at King Machinery. Come down here and learn a little bit before you make a purchase, and you can start with this video. You got anything to add?
Yep. No, we, like Matt said, we'd love to help you out. And as we often say, you know, we have the equipment to help you work the land that you love. Come and see us.
Subscribe, like, share, and surprise your friends every now and then.